Allie. Join me as I show you how to make your own wire form and then weave beads into that wire form. There's a lot of different beads that you can use, a lot of different colors. And if you need any supplies, look below the video in the description to get links to get back to our website where we have everything listed out for you. Gather up your supplies and let's get started. So to begin this design, we are going to be using some 18 gauge wire, and we are going to be creating our own triangle form out of the wire and then doing a cascade of seed beads up the triangle form. In the sample here, I used 8/0 seed beads. I'm going to be using 11/0 seed beads. So I have my 18 gauge wire, and I also have a size 10 beading needle with some white dragon thread. When I did the brass ones, I did those in a green thread, so it kind of went in and merged into the wire and you didn't see it as much. I have a drawing here that I made of a triangle because I want to do about the same size. And you can draw any shape and really do this with any desired size as well. I'm going to cut a 5-inch piece of wire in order to do my form. And this is generous and more than you may need, but that way you have extra. Also, once you make one form, you can assess and see how much wire left over you had if you don't want to use extra wire. So you can do and buy perfect forms like triangles, squares, and ovals, etc. But you can also make your own. The biggest thing is if you're making your own and you are going to be using thread with it, you want to close off the top where that is. I'm going to go in first and use my pliers to make my bends here. Going in about 1.5 inches from the wire, I'm going to make my first bend. Holding the pliers, holding the wire with the pliers, I'm going to bend the wire up and into a turn. Looking at that then, I'm going to go in here to that turn area. I'm going to go right in past that turn, holding with my pliers and bend up the opposite direction. Holding it on my form, I'm going to see how much I need to go in and alter it at all, or how close I got to my little cookie cutter there. Pretty close. The one that is hanging straight up, or excuse me, the longer side, I'm going to go in now and turn it up towards the top. So that way it looks like it's coming straight through the middle of the bottom. And the longer one here, we are going to take, and we are also going to turn that towards the top. Turning that towards the top and finishing off that form, you're now going to take it and wrap it around the longer piece just one time. You want to make sure again, kind of going in, that you still have your form. I'm going to bend that down towards the bottom. And then I'm going to cut off that extra wire after completing that loop one time. Take your needle nose pliers and just do a nice little pinch. And then double check your form along your piece. Right there is my form, pretty accurate. I'm going to go in before I make my loop and make my second form. Again, going in about 1.5 inches. Holding my wire and turning my pliers to make that first turn. Going in and seeing the angle I need, I can go in and change it a little bit if I need to. Go into the paper here, hold right after where the triangle would end with my pliers. I'm going to go right in and I'm just going to turn that wire up towards the top, making the bottom a little bit more of a nice turn. Go in with your pliers and kind of correct it. I like to go in here and make sure that my forms are about even along the bottom here, kind of straightening out. First form doesn't matter as much. Second form, you want to make sure that it looks identical. As we get to the top here, you're going to take again that shorter piece, going into your triangle, and turn it up. Longer piece, same thing, turn it up towards the top. Making sure when you look at it, it comes out through the middle of the base of the bottom. Going in here, take that shorter one, wrap it around the longer one time, cut off that extra wire, bring your form back over, turn that down, cut off that extra wire there, and pinch that closed. Looking at your form now, you want to make sure that it lines up and that it sits exactly the same as the other one. Going in now, once I have my forms, I'm going to go in, make sure they're very identical, and get ready to do the top of them as well too. I have handy and close by a nylon jaw pliers, which if you want to, you can use that to kind of flatten out your sides. By the time you go in and add the beads to it, you're really not going to be able to see that. Once you check the accuracy of your triangles and make sure they are the same height and same size, we are going to go in And we're going to turn our long piece of wire to the side. As we do so, then you're going to pick up a round nose pliers, hold it towards the back of it. I have a little line there where I like my loops. I'm going to bend the wire over top of the form. I have lots of videos showing how to do this. And then I'm going to complete my loop and wrap my wire at the top of that form. Cut off your extra wire here. I like to make it so it kind of looks like a continuous line, from one wire to the other, the bottom to the top. I'm going to do the same thing on this other side here, going in, making my wire loop, and then also wrapping around the top. And I want my sides to kind of match in look, so I'll just kind of take it and look and see if they look the same, and they're pretty good along the top. And now we're going to go in and we're going to add some beads. So how are we going to add some beads? We're going to add some beads with some thread and needle. Taking my form to the side here, I'm going to take my thread and we're going to tie it onto the side of our wire. Kind of right there in that bottom corner. I'm going to do 1 and 2 ties. Nice tight pull, and a third one for good measure. And this is size 6 dragon thread. You can use a 6 or an 8, either size will work. I'm going to get my colors out now to create my lines, and then we'll get ready to go in and thread or bead our forms. Want a monthly dose of inspiration while stocking up on your beading supplies? Potomac Beads Treasure Box is a monthly subscription where you can save up to 60% off new and exciting materials. Every month, you'll receive an assortment of unique and exclusive beads in a variety of colors and shapes. Whether you're a beginner or an accomplished beader, the Treasure Box will inspire you to create unique projects for yourself and to gift to others. Unleash your creativity with a Treasure Box subscription. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscriptions today, or click on the link below in the description to get links to get back to our website. Now that you've got your thread tied on, you need to string your first row of beads. You can see that I just did the blue one here. And how I knew how many rows and how many beads I was going to do is because I held it to the side. So I was able to count and say, okay, how many in my lightest blue, my medium, dark, etc. going on, and kind of repeating some of the lines. With the bigger ones here, I use the 8/0s. I have personally 13 seed beads across after going and tying on the loop. I'm going to go into the bottom here, go over the form, tuck my thread around the form, and then I'm going to go back through that row of seed beads. Now keep in mind, when you're tucking through the form, you want to make sure that you're not at the bottom of the form, you're on the sides of the triangle. Get that nice line of seed beads there. See how it wanted to go to the bottom? Nice tight pull. And then I'm going to go back underneath the form at the end here and go back through my row of seed beads, making sure you don't miss any seed beads, because if you miss seed beads, you'll definitely notice. They'll stick out. From here, I'm going to go underneath the form and I'm going to build basically a ladder up, decreasing the amount of beads that I put on. So here I had 13. I'm going to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 beads go on. You're going to lay it right across here. Make sure that that's the appropriate amount of beads and that you don't need a different amount. Go over the form here, just like we did before. I'm tucking over top of the form, basically looping around the form. And this is the same technique for any leather wrap bracelet that you want to do. Now you're going back through all of those dark blue seed beads, taking your needle and thread always to the top of the form, tucking around the form and bringing your needle out through, and now getting my next row of beads. As I go up, I'm just going to make sure to kind of push it down towards the bottom here. I'm going to progress into my next color. Looking at my sample, I did 1 row with that color. And you can count how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll try to do about the same, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If your form slightly varies, You may need less or more beads. Hopefully it should be right about the same, that you made your form nice and the same as the other one. Wrapping around the edge there with your thread, going back through that row of seed beads. And then once again, counting down and basically adding your next row. Back through the row of seed beads one time, go to the opposite side, loop around, going over the form, and then running your beads back through, coming out to the front of the form always, pushing it down, letting it relax. I don't want to pull it too tight. And then here again. Some people will even put beads here that they use as a line to kind of hold those beads in line, or you can do a brick stitch. Plenty of videos on brick stitch as well. Continue going in then and decreasing the amount of beads that you add. Let's see, I think I added one too many for here. This line. Actually, we'll make it work. Going over to the side and again through. So I'm just going to keep doing these lines of seed beads really easily going up along the form. As you go up with your triangle earrings, you're decreasing always the size. You get to the top and you have one final bead. From here, I'm going to make a loop with the thread going around the top of the form. I'm going to take my loop and put my needle through it 2 times. That's going to get the thread knotted right above the form. I'm going to do, and right below the coils. I'm going to do it one more time. 1 and 2. And right nice and at the top. And because the thread is so thin, you won't see it. There won't be a lot of pressure also to get that. Sorry, I'm looking for my scissors. There won't be a lot of pressure to get that pulled in the seed beads. I'm going in now, I'm cutting down my thread. And then I'm going to go in with my lighter here, burn down my thread edges. I'll burn down right to the base of the piece. You won't even see it. Same here, burning that guy down right at the end. That one's probably a little long. Could have cut that down a little bit more. And that finishes up our earrings. Only thing we have to do yet is some ear wires. You can make them yourself. Go in here and cut about 7 inches of wire. 6 inches, 3 inches to both pieces. Go in with your round nose pliers where you have them marked. Make your front facing loop so that they're consistent. Once you have those loops the same size, you're going to grab your mandrel or even a Bic pen. You're going to bend around the mandrel, bend that loop back outward. Do the same thing here, hold, bend around the mandrel, bend that loop back out, kind of twisting around here. And then I'm going to go in, make them the same size, go in and take my wire cutter, cut down my ear wires, go into the end of the ear wire here, just take your pliers and do a nice little pinch up, like ear wires that you would get in the bag completed. That keeps them and helps them from falling out of your ear. From here, you're going to open up the loop you made, sliding it to the side, put your earring on, and close it up. Slide open, put on, close up. And that's how to make your own wire forms. How to add seed beads to it. You can do those in size 8 seed beads. You can do it in 6s. You can do it in multi-hold beads as well. But it's really nice to be able to make your own forms in whatever shape you want. Round, circle, square. You can even use different things around the house as a template and bend the wire around it as well. Thanks so much for joining me in these wire form and seed bead earrings. It's really great to learn those skills, to do your own wire working, make your own ear wires, and add in thread and mixed media to your projects. Remember, if you need any supplies, look below the video. In the video description, there'll be a link there to get back to our website. As always, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, Potomac Beaters, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.